Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's another wonderful Tuesday, and so this is, of course, our Tuesday tune-up. See if this resonates with anybody. My kids, and even to some extent my wife, have been pestering me about giving them a Christmas list. Now, the older I get, the more challenging this becomes. When I was a kid, this was super easy. All I needed to do was find the Sears catalog. Y'all remember that? And leaf through the toy section, and all the ideas for Christmas just leapt to mind. But the older I get, the more I realize, there is no more Sears catalog. In fact, there's almost no more Sears. And the world has changed, and I have changed. I don't really have any sort of big ticket wishes, and the kids, they really don't have the resources to send me on that Hawaiian vacation that, I keep getting cheated out of by COVID. But I guess then, in the absence of any input from me, it's going to be socks or a tacky Christmas sweater again this year. And that's fine. So why am I talking about this? Well, this is the Christmas season, the season of giving, at least according to our popular culture. Advent doesn't really exist in the secular world, although have you noticed this? I've noticed that Advent has started to become commercialized. I was in Costco and I noticed this whole wall of Advent things, Advent calendars with a little door that opened up and there was a chapstick in each one. They even have one with wine, an Advent wine calendar. And if you can drink a whole bottle of wine every day in Advent, more power to you, friends. That's probably not good for your liver. Nonetheless, the notion that our Advent, our time of waiting, that doesn't really exist in the commercial world. They're heading right for Christmas, even treating Thanksgiving as nothing more than a speed bump on the super highway to commercial success. Blah. They've been playing Frosty the Snowman in stores since Labor Day. And so, Christmas is a-comin', as they say. Well, you all know that Black Friday is called that because that's the day that retail stores break even for the year and begin turning a profit. That's when they go from operating in the red to operating in the black, and that's where the name comes from. Everything else they sell from that point to the end of the year is profit. So they pull out all the stops in an effort to get us to spend all that we can. We are bombarded with messages that essentially tell us that we don't love someone unless we spend a lot of money on them. One particularly interesting development is the number of new car commercials you see on TV now. And I think I mentioned this in last week's tune-up. It seems that while I wasn't paying attention, people began buying luxury cars for one another as Christmas gifts. That has to be in a world that I don't live in, nonetheless. I did see one commercial a while ago that I found particularly amazing. It's an eBay commercial with a family gathered around the piano singing Christmas carols. Now, it would seem to be a Currier and Ives moment of family bliss until the precocious teenage daughter uses the song to express her displeasure about the gifts she received last year. She laments how lame they were and lets everybody know that she does not want any more acid-wash jeans or another needlecraft pillow handmade by Aunt Harriet. It'll be best for all involved if they just stick to her pre-approved list, which conveniently enough, they can access online through eBay. Wow. It would seem that the old phrase, "it's the thought that counts," that's no longer true in the modern age, is it? The message of this ad is clearly that it is the gift that counts. And as I think about it, as we sit here in the second week of Advent preparing for the coming of Jesus, that's exactly the point. It is the gift that counts. Yeah, you heard me correctly. You don't have to rewind. It is the gift that counts. Now, before you look at me like I'm crazy and gone totally commercial, I want you to think about it this way. What is the real gift of Christmas but Jesus? That tiny baby born in a manger in humble poverty. The fact that God loved us so much that he sent his only Son to become one of us, live as we live, and ultimately die to save us all, that, my friends, is the greatest gift the world has ever seen. And it's precisely the one gift that we would never have asked for. No, Jesus wouldn't have appeared on any of our wish lists, whether it's an online eBay list or a child's letter to Santa. No one would have asked for Jesus. Now, yes, we wanted a Messiah to come, but the Jews who wanted the Messiah didn't expect Jesus at all. He was decidedly not what they had in mind. They were actually waiting for a warrior who would restore the glory of Israel and overthrow the Roman rule. In fact, to this day, the Jews still don't see him as the Messiah, and they continue to wait. No, nobody asked for Jesus. Jesus was the gift-giving equivalent of the needlepoint pillow from Aunt Harriet. If God wanted to give us a gift, there were any number of things we would have asked for instead of Jesus. If God had asked me, well, I probably would have asked for a large sum of money, something we could use here at the church, or at the very least, that Hawaiian vacation that I keep losing out on. But God incarnate, that wasn't what I had in mind, and I suspect that many of you would have a similar story. But this gift that no one wanted, changed the world forever. And that is what we celebrate. It's not about the Christmas cards, the holiday parties, or the shopping. It's not about the frenzy of trips to the mall, or the post office, or the holiday decorations. It's not about maxing out your credit cards or going even deeper into debt to give the people that you love new iPhones or luxury cars. Oh, that's not it, friends. It's about remembering the night that God gave us the greatest gift of all time, the greatest gift that we never wanted, but could not live without. As we spend the Advent season preparing for the coming of the Christ child, let's all try to remember what we're preparing for. It isn't about the money that we spend or the frenzy that we work ourselves into. That's not it. At this time of year, I recall the wonderful story by Charles Dickens, and I'm always enthralled by the journey of Ebenezer Scrooge. You all know that one. Scrooge's life is completely transformed in just one night. The huge change in Scrooge from Christmas Eve to Christmas morning reminds me that there is hope for all of us. For it wasn't just that Scrooge went from being miserly to generous with money. The story isn't really about money at all. I'm going to pause and let you think about that one for a second. The story of Scrooge is really not about money at all. Instead, it's about the priorities we set for ourselves. Scrooge had put money above everything else in life, and the events of Christmas Eve changed all of that. And by Christmas morning, he had placed people above all other things. It wasn't the turkey or the gifts that he bought for people. It was the smile he had for all. It was the genuine joy he had for life and the way he truly valued and loved other people from that point forward. My friends, may we remember in this season of Advent that we too are fundamentally changed by the events of Christmas Eve. And like Scrooge, hopefully we will know that it's not about how much money we spend or how long our eBay gift list is. It's not about the vacation that I wanted and didn't get. No. It's about the gift that we never asked for, and yet the gift that changed us all. Blessings on the rest of your Advent journey, my friends.